Okay, welcome to the Angel Wing LLC. This is our trial run of the Angel Wing's online self-mastery and personal transformation program. We are at week number 11. So we're going to begin this right now. This is the disclaimer statement. If there's any questions about this, please do contact Angel Wing and we'll get back to you on that. Okay, and we'll begin just with a reminder of the materials you need each week. You need your 2 workbooks, the vitamin M envelope, some drawing paper if you have that available, which would be great. Otherwise, notebooks are probably going to be all right. A blank card per week, blank 3x5 card, color pens, pencils, markers, highlighters, any of those things would be a good bonus to have that with you. Okay, so we're going to start with our grounding meditation exercise, and then we'll continue from there. Hold on 1 second here. For some reason.
Sometimes, the mind can feel like a pack of wild horses, jumping around from past to present to future, refusing to sit still. And like a pack of wild horses, trying to force the mind to be still just doesn't work. The horses are wild in nature after all. But with practice and time, we can train the mind to be aware of when it's galloping in all directions. And we can guide it back to the present moment with a kind and friendly hand. So let's see if we can practice taming the mind by taking a few mindful, deep breaths. Wherever you are now, get comfortable. Eyes can be open or closed, and perhaps relaxing the shoulders. And now, taking a deep breath, breathing in through the nose, and breathing out through the mouth. Noticing what thought or sensation the mind is chasing after. And again, just gently taking another deep breath. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One last time, breathing in and breathing out. Similar to the wild horses, over time, the mind can become more tame, more calm, and may even start to enjoy more moments of stillness. Remember to just keep practicing.
Okay, so we're going to continue further here. We're beginning our week number 11 online workshop. This is just a quick reminder and quick review from last week that the principle number 10 was on attention. Hopefully you read that 3 times a day. And that is a way to reinforce these principles, which we will be getting back to in more detail later on. Okay, so that was from last week. You can just quickly take a look at that. Please remember to do all your homework so you stay on track. Try not to fall behind on that. Please make sure that all the homework assignments and the exercises are completed and are done before the beginning of each week, before the beginning of our online presentations. Okay, and if you remember, this is our 7-point breakdown of the main concept. And we've been talking about unobstructed energy flow for the last 2 sessions. And we're going to continue along those lines further today. This is our sentence that you've written before. You don't need to write this down, about the concept of energy flow and personal energy flow, right? Just as a quick reminder that how energy flows in the physical world, right? From sunlight to plants, from electricity to the different appliances or different in light bulbs and things like that, where energy lights up. It provides the power for various different types of objects or systems. Similarly, our personal energy is only one, but it flows in many, many, many different ways, throughout the body, throughout the mind, through our emotions, through our feelings, through our thoughts. So this is very significant to keep in mind. Things like stress, negative thoughts, disturbances, harmful memories, all of that disturbs our energies. It causes a lot of distraction. It interrupts the good quality energy flow. So this is something to keep in mind, because this is our goal. We want to reach a state of unobstructed and undisturbed flow of energy. And it's not easy. This is what we're working on, because there's so much disturbance in most people's lives at various levels of the mind, right? So the exercises we have been doing systematically is to balance this flow out. And this is going to be each person's journey. Everyone's pace, and this is going to be their own, right? So we're going to do an exercise today. And usually it's good to have, some of the drawing paper. If you don't have that, just use your workbook number 1. So that's fine. Open up workbook number 1. And what I'd like you to do is put today's date on workbook number 1, which is 7/13/2023, or whichever date you're at right now if you're watching this later on. And then put week number 11, excuse me. And for the exercise today, there's a title on top, which you can see, Channeling the River, a guided visualization exercise for undisturbed energy flow. So write that down, please. Don't write anything else down yet. Don't write the objective down. We'll be talking about that. So Channeling the River, a guided visualization exercise for undisturbed energy flow. Just write that down. Okay, very good. So the objective here today, this exercise aims to visualize and channel your personal energy for a clear, focused mind. It will help each of us to understand and create a metaphorical representation of undisturbed energy flow. So there's a visualization component, and then there's a drawing component a little bit later on, right? So to begin with, you've got some of these materials, as we usually mention, to make some nice drawing. So before we start the drawing, there's a little bit of visualization to be done. So find a quiet and comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. So hopefully you're in that place right now. Take a few moments to calm your mind and prepare yourself for this exercise. You might want to do some deep breathing or brief meditation to set the mood. So just nice steady breaths. Just close your eyes for a few moments. Nice and easy. Take a steady breath in and bring it out. Steady breath in and out. Steady breath in and out. Okay, very good. Now, we're going to do an initial visualization here. So to begin with, and if you can close your eyes or you can keep them open, it's up to you. It's fine. Either way is all right. You can look at the screen if you want. There's a little picture there. Now close your eyes or look at the picture that's right there, that's lake, and imagine a stream of water flowing downhill. This is what you're seeing there is just the lake. You're not seeing a stream of water there on that picture. There's a reason for that. I'll tell you that in a second. But I want you to imagine a stream of water flowing downhill. Visualize the clear, undisturbed water moving steadily without any obstacle in its path. What does that look like in your mind right now? Bring the picture in your mind. It's very easy to do. You've got a stream of water flowing downhill. Okay. So this is a visualization. You're visualizing that, not the picture that's in front of you. That's for something else. So visualize the clear, undisturbed water. The water is clear, it's undisturbed, and it's moving steadily without any obstacles in the path. So try to picture the details, the smooth surface of the water, the shimmering reflections, the peaceful rhythm of the flow. Just see if you can bring that into your mind right now. Maybe you've seen such a river. Many times we've seen a lot of wavy rivers and lots of, rivers with lots of rocks and stuff like that. But try to picture a smooth surface of the water, peaceful rhythm to the flow. See, just bring that picture in your mind. Okay. Now, the reason we have the picture that you see there, that's of a lake, actually. That's not of a river. It's an interesting analogy because when you have a really still lake, a still lake, you can see the reflection very clearly. There's some mountains in the back. You can see them reflected in there. It's possible to reach such a stage where the mind becomes very still. It's possible. Okay, that's just something to keep in mind. Now, personal energy stream. What is that? We all have our own internal energy. It's like a stream of energy. It's going in some various directions. So now transition this image that you were just thinking about, the river, to a representation of your energy. Imagine this stream as your personal energy flow. So you've got that stream image in your mind. I've got a little picture there also, the stream. Imagine this stream as your personal energy flow and consider what it might look like, feel like, and sound like if your energy were flowing as undisturbed as this stream. So this is an interesting visualization. Consider it within yourself. I'm going to give you some time to do this. This is not the easiest thing to do. I'll kind of guide you through this. This is just it's an imaginative kind of conceptual, you're thinking about this, you're visualizing it. You're not writing anything down right now. So what I'd like you to do, I want you to first be very clear about the comparison between the river that's flowing without any obstacles and your energy. The water in the river is like energy. And we all have energy. It flows. Without that energy flow, there's no life. Energy cannot not flow. It has to flow. So imagine this stream as your personal energy flow. So bring that in your mind now, that this is my personal energy flow. It's good to have an analogy. You see a little picture there. Is it not true that throughout the whole day, energy is moving inside our system? To walk and to talk and to think and to feel and to so many things. Is that true or not? It is definitely true. Now, consider what it might look like. So visually, try to bring a visual of this energy. Now, obviously, we cannot see that energy as like a visual picture or something like that. But bring a visual. Maybe it looks like a shimmering light. Maybe it's like the lightning, the brightness of the lightning. Maybe it's the brightness of the sun. Or maybe it's the beauty of nature, that it's beautiful. So you could bring that inside. Imagine what it might look like. Obviously, it doesn't look exactly like that, but this is just a picture you're creating right now, what it might look like, or what does it look like for you? Let's put it that way. What does this personal energy look like? If you were to symbolize that, what is that for you? Maybe it's, if you are an intellectual person, maybe it looks like a lot of like mental power. So it just depends, right? It can look like so many things. Now there's three things here. What does this look like? So that's the visual. What does it feel like? The personal energy flow, this is a little bit easier to do probably. What does it feel like? Because we have feelings all the time. So we already know the answer to this question because our feelings cannot exist the way they do without energy. Just can't happen. You can't, doesn't matter what the feeling is, right? So the feelings we have, they all have energy. Now, what I'd like you to do is to separate the energy from the feelings. Anger, compassion, love, trust, fear, regret, blame, shame. The list goes on. Just right now, the two of us together, or those who are online in the future, let's see if we can separate the energy from feelings. Of course, no feeling can actually be expressed without energy. So separate that out. See, the analogy of the river is very interesting. It's really good. It's just water, but we don't call it water. If you see that picture that's there on the left, if I was to ask anybody what they would say a stream. They won't say river probably, they'll say stream. Hardly anybody will say, I'm looking at just water. We use the word stream. Why is that? Because of that water flowing in that way, in that environment, with that boundary. Our emotions are like that too. Same concept. Now, even the sound, just like a river that's flowing, there's a sound to the river, to the stream. What does this energy sound like? Now, obviously, it doesn't sound like anything. We know that. But if you were to give a word to that, what would that be? You know, people who experience a lot of strong emotion, strong experiences. There's some, you know, what word would that be? So you don't need to write anything in this. Just bring this in your mind and see what comes there. If nothing comes to it, it's all right. Don't worry about it. It's a way of trying to realize what is our energy flow through analogy. This is a little different technique than what we usually do, or that what we've done so far. So I'm trying to introduce some new ways of doing this. So there's a series of questions here. Okay, so how would it meaning one's personal energy flow impact thought process, our process of thinking? We know that it impacts our thinking, emotions and focus. We talked about emotions already. Our focus, concentration, thoughts, emotions, it has an impact on all of that. And we can deliberately, consciously, mindfully, intentionally change the energy flow. We can decide where to put that energy, how much energy to put. Okay, now having said this, you can always go back to this and spend some more time on this by yourself, maybe in your meditation space. However, you can always look at the slide again. You'll be getting all of this as PDFs. You can always go back to it if you want. It's optional. All right, so it's not a homework assignment or anything. This is just something online that we're doing right now. Okay, now we're going to draw this a bit. So now I want you to draw the stream, the undisturbed stream of on your paper. First of all, you need to decide what's an undisturbed stream. What does it look like for you? You can draw it the way you want. You can, use any colors or techniques you feel represent this visualization. You've already visualized it. And again, this is the homework assignment. So this is our online work right now. We're starting it off, but you can finish it off later on in the week. Consider using gentle, curving lines to represent the smooth and undisturbed flow of your energy. What does it look like? Right? So make sure you're clear about what you're trying to draw. The visual about undisturbed stream, that's the analogy, comparison to your own energy. If Sachin is to say, my energy is undisturbed, what does that look like physically? I mean, as in the form of a river, in the form of a stream. how do I draw that? So draw it any way you want, with curved lines, and you could just make a river out of it. You can make a stream out of it. You could also, it doesn't even have to be that. It could be something else. It could be a person running, for example, or it could just be like a lake that, with some ripples in there. It's whatever you feel like drawing, you can do that. That represents undisturbed flow of energy. But we're saying here to draw the undisturbed stream on paper. So use any colors, any techniques, anything you want. And in our supplementary materials for these exercises, we will have many, many real examples of how to do these drawings and visualizations with many, many different kinds of preset drawings that will show how this is to be done, what this could potentially look like in much more detail. So all of these drawings you're making and what you're writing down in these workbooks, we'll be coming back to that in phase 2 after the 13 weeks are done, in the next 13-week series. So consider using gentle curved lines to represent the smooth and undisturbed flow of energy. This is the key point here. This is our goal. So we're kind of drawing our goal. One of our big goals in this program is for the smooth and undisturbed flow of energy. Even though it may not be there right now in our life, but we want to start thinking about it, start visualizing it, start really setting that as a goal, that that's what I want, to want that. And you can make a real nice drawing out of this. Lots of ways of going about it. You could draw a nice stream, and you could put really cool stuff in there so that you can add elements. As you're drawing this is the next point here. I'll just mention it now. That is adding elements. Within the stream, you can add elements that represent your thoughts, your emotions, and your focus when your energy is flowing undisturbed. Now, let's understand this point. When our energy, our personal energy, is moving through thoughts and emotions, and when we're concentrating and focusing, and it's happening that way without disturbance. So, for example, a light bulb is a great example. A light bulb, let's say a 50-watt light bulb, 60-watt light bulb, is turned on, and it's an undisturbed, continuous flow of energy through the filament. The electricity is flowing without disturbance in the mechanism that is present in the light bulb. Similarly, our emotions, our mind, our brain, our actions, all of that is, you can compare that to a light bulb. Easy analogy to understand. But you know what happens if the light bulb is defective or something, it flickers. We've all seen those flickering light bulbs. Eventually they blow out also. Doesn't mean that the energy is gone. The mechanism is defective. Right? So the point is that our thoughts, our emotions, our focus, our concentration is only possible when there's energy. And now we're taking it a bit further to, in the drawing that you made, to add elements in there that represent the flowing of this energy without disturbance. So you could draw a light bulb as an analogy. You could draw other things, like color gradients or shapes. You could be more creative and intuitive, whatever you think that might be. For now, a light bulb is a great symbol, actually. But there's lots of other ways of going about it too. And you can do this as a homework assignment to find the right symbols. You can search online and things like that. If you are more interested in making a much elaborate, like a mural or some kind of elaborate drawing on this, you can really make it look really, really nice. So within the stream, adding elements that represent thoughts, emotions, focus, concentration, etc., when your energy is flowing undisturbed. It's a big thing. There's a lot to be said about this. We won't spend too much time on it right now because it is a homework assignment. And this is something for you to be creative about. You can take some time with this. You can Google some of this stuff about some of the additional symbols. So be a little creative with this and kind of go with it from there. Okay. Now that you've had some beginning of a drawing at least, let's reflect on this a bit. When you finish your drawing, take a moment to reflect on the image. Does it capture what you've imagined? See, whatever you were imagining, whatever we were imagining, is the drawing capturing that? If it's not so much, this is the homework assignment, embellish it. Spend some time with it. And if you're going to do this in a partnership, we're going to set up accountability partners. Your partners can meet together in between our workshop sessions and do some, and develop these drawings further. And then you can write about it also. Drawing is part of it, but you can write about it. You can make even audio recordings and send them to Angel Wing. You can keep them for yourself. There's a lot of things that you can do, not just the drawings. So right here, what do we have? In the reflection, does the drawing capture what you've imagined? It's a very big idea. What does the image tell you about your ideal state of undisturbed energy? And that's the key, energy flow. The ideal. Right now, we didn't talk today about how to get to that ideal. We want to be clear about the ideal. See the difference. Not one time did I mention here today how you're going to reach that stage. That we have been talking about, we will talk about further later on. It all connects together. Right now, we're drawing an ideal state. What does the image tell you about your ideal state of undisturbed energy? That's a big question. You could write an essay about that. It's something to reflect on. You may not have an answer right now, and you don't have to have one right now. What I'd like you to do is to listen to the question, to think about this question, let this question stay with you through this week. How can you aim to achieve this state in your daily life? See, this is the whole point of personal transformation. Life is a daily life. It's a day at a time. So we want those who are enrolled in this program, or going to be enrolled later on also, we have a goal. We have a very specific set of goals, and this is one of them, that is to reach a state of undisturbed energy flow. When this happens, if there's a true state like that, all of the 12 dimensions are in balance. You will be able to approach a 9 to a 10 level at that point when this occurs. This is the basic idea. All right, very good. So this is your homework assignment to work on this further. We're going to do our stretch break right now. Okay, so that's just a minute stretch break.
I'm so glad you're joining us for a quick movement break. You should aim to integrate movement into your workday at least every 30 minutes of uninterrupted sitting time. Doing so can reduce your risk of weight gain, high blood pressure, and obesity. Let's get started. Begin by standing. Root both feet into the ground. Take a great big inhale and reach both hands high above your head. On your exhale, goalpost the arms and lift the chest, finding a baby back bend. Back bends can quickly boost your energy levels and help to refocus your mind when dealing with stress. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lift the chest and goalpost the arms. Place your hands down by your side. Now bring your right knee up to your chest. Try to balance here as long as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg and lower back. Now slowly bring your foot back behind you and pull it towards your glutes, stretching through the front of your hips. You may want to hold on to something in order to help keep your balance. Let's switch to the other side. Bring your left knee up to your chest. Try to balance here as long as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of your leg and lower back. Now slowly bring your foot back behind you, pull it towards your glutes, stretching through the front of your hips. Bring both feet back together. Next, bend your arms by your side and begin to twist right and left, opening up into your sides and spine. You can leave your arms bent or straighten them out depending on the space you have available. Twisting the spine back and forth can help relieve any tension in the lower back from sitting. Lastly, place your feet about hips distance. Then place your hands onto your hips. Take an inhale and lift the chest up, and exhale, slowly beginning to lower the chest down. As you begin to fold forward, bend the knees to begin lengthening through the hamstrings until your chest touches the tops of your thighs. You can dangle your arms down towards the floor or grab onto your elbows. Stay here to continue lengthening through the spine, or you can sway side to side. Bring the hands back to your hips, and on your next inhale, slowly begin to rise up. Head comes up last. Great work on integrating this quick physical activity break into your busy day. Setting a reminder on your phone or computer can help you remember to fit in regular breaks. Breaks don't have to take up too much of your time and can be effective with just a few short minutes. Low-intensity activities such as standing can be just as beneficial as walking. We encourage you to take a stand against sitting.
Okay, so now that we've had this wonderful mini little stretch break, we are ready to go to the next part of our online workshop today. So please open workbook number 2. And this is the 12-dimensional assessment. Please put today's date on there. And I always just do a quick review as a reminder of what the 12 dimensions are. Dimension 1, career. Dimension 2, finances. So actually, what I'd like you to do, let's kind of do this together. So I'm going to read these. I'm going to read it one time, and then you repeat with me. Okay, so repeat it out loud. So just put today's date on there. And this is just a verbal exercise. This is a quick reminder of what are the 12 dimensions, right? So let's do this together. Dimension 1, career. Dimension 1, career. Dimension 2, finances. Dimension 2, finances. Dimension 3, physical health. Dimension 3, physical health. Dimension 4, mental health. Dimension 4, mental health. Dimension 5, family and relationships. Dimension 5, family and relationships. Dimension 6, social life. Dimension 6, social life. Dimension 7, personal development. Dimension 7, personal development. Dimension 8, spiritual life. Dimension 8, spiritual life. Dimension 9, recreation and leisure. Dimension 9, recreation and leisure. Dimension 12, environment. Dimension 10, environment. Dimension 11, contribution to society. Dimension 11, contribution to society. Dimension 12, life vision. Dimension 12, life vision. Okay, very good. Again, a quick reminder of in this core energy diagram, all 12 dimensions are interconnected. They don't exist separately from each other. We think of them in separate ways. There is some separateness, but they're not completely separate from each other. They all require the same energy. We've been talking about the core energy, the root energy in all 12 areas. That's that diagram. Remember how the rating goes for all 0 to 10? Please make sure you've done your rating before the workshop begins. You have to set the right time to do that, the right day. Do it at the same time each week, the same day each week on a scale of 0 to 10. So the assessment ratings are where 10 is the highest possible functioning in that optimal condition. 0 would be really, really the lowest or the worst possible situation. That's what that is. Easy to understand. Our aim by the end of the 1 year in this is to reach 70% balance level. If you reach that during the first 13 weeks, well and good. Then we want to increase it further. We don't want to see a decrease. If it does decrease, we want to know why that's decreasing and then figure out a plan to take care of that. So we'll be providing guidance in that as once the program begins. All right. So that's the rating scale. You've got this Excel spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet looks something like this. This is just in color, and then all the numbers are tallied automatically once you just put them in there. Please this is your self-assessment. Angel Wing is not assessing you. You are going to assess yourself, and we will be providing some detailed videos and guidelines for further in-depth understanding of these assessment numbers. But you don't need that at this stage. It's just 0 to 10. Select the best number. You can always do like a 5.5, 5.8. You can also do that too if you see little changes that way. Right. So today we're going to consider dimension number 6. So in your notebook, in your workbook number 2, write this down. Dimension number 6, social life. Okay. This is our social life dimension. Okay. So I want you to create 3 bullet points there. First bullet point, put social interactions. You'll see the words right there. It's in the definition there. Second bullet point, social connections. Okay, third bullet point, social activities / events. Okay, so you got some bullet points there. So we're going to do an exercise. So maybe just from what you just wrote, just make it like a line underneath that. And then if you want to flip to the next page, you can, or you can do this underneath if you have enough space there. This is an exercise, circle of connections. That's all you need to put. Don't put the whole thing there. Put circle of connections. And what is the objective? We're going to do an exercise here. This exercise is designed to help you visualize and examine your social life, your interactions and connections with others, and your participation in social activities. It is also a fun and insightful way to understand the balance and distribution of social engagements, right? So that's a mouthful there, but we'll be able to break that down very nicely. So this is how we start this exercise. Of course, you already, the same materials, you need quiet place and pens and paper and all that. Okay, so let's go through this one step at a time. So the first step, find a quiet, comfortable space where you can focus and spread out your materials. Take a moment to center yourself, perhaps with a few deep breaths. Just, you've already done some breathing and all that before. We're still breathing, obviously, but that's fine. Now, to begin with, draw a circle. This is mapping social connections. So how do we do this? Draw a circle in the center of your paper and write your name in it. So let's do that first. This circle represents you. Around this circle, draw other circles representing people in your life. So these are just circle exercises. So make a nice one big circle, put your name in the center there. And around this circle, around the central circle, draw other circles representing people in your life. These can include friends, family, co-workers, neighbors, whoever. The closer the circle to the center circle, the closer the circle to the center circle, the closer your relationship is with that person. And this is an interesting thing to do. You can do this as a homework exercise also to really complete the diagram. It has to do with the closeness of the relationship. So maybe your children, spouse could be very, very close to the center. So around the circle, draw the other circles, and then the closer to the circle, the closer the circle is to the center circle, the closer your relationship. So if you could potentially have two circles touching, your main circle that you've drawn, you could have another circle touching that's as close as you get. Try not to overlap these circles at this point. Right? So you can, if you have a bigger piece of paper, you can always draw many, many, many circles and put all the names inside those circles. Right? So write the names of the individuals within those additional circles. And if you always draw like a distant circle, so like your fourth cousin or some old friend, you don't have much of a relationship now, but if the person calls you, you say, hey, how you doing, this and that, and whatever. So it's about the level of closeness. Okay, so take your time with this, and we have the third step to take. Okay, very good. So if you're ready to go to the next stage, let me know. Otherwise, take your time. You still have plenty of time left. We're on step number 2 right now. So if you're ready to go to the next one, you can come back to this as a homework assignment, remember. So now this is the interesting part. Now the third step here is to draw interactions. Now take a different color and start drawing lines between the circles, representing interactions you've had. The thickness of the line could represent the frequency of interaction, with thicker lines indicating more frequent contact. So even if you don't have different colors, you can just make like a thicker line. And like a really thin line would be very little frequency of interaction. This is a really cool diagram to make. So you'll be able to see your social relationship structure. At least we're beginning the process right now. And this is a much more intricate exercise that we can always do later on in supplements, and then to be done as homework assignments. We will, as I stated before, we will be creating specialized PowerPoints and videos with lots of examples of these, like, good 10, 20 examples of these kinds of drawings, how they can be made, how they can be done intricately. What are some of the examples? What are some of the interconnected ideas? But those are all supplementary materials that will be available in addition to all of this foundational material that we are presenting online. Wonderful. Right, so this is we're on the third step right now. This is why it's good to have different colors, but if you don't have different colors, it's also all right. But it's really try to get some, colored pens or colored markers, and to have some highlighters. And in the future, we will probably create an 8 by 11 or 8.5 by 11 coloring book, like a workbook with all these exercises in there. So that'll be like something that'll be available for people who sign up, but that's in the future. Okay, so if you've done that, you got it started. We have 2 more steps here. Okay, so you're going to add social activities, the fun stuff, right? In a different color, draw squares to represent different social activities or events you participate in: clubs, groups, sports, hobbies. Draw lines connecting you and other people to these activities. Again, the thickness of the line could represent the level of involvement, right? So what you're doing there is you're adding these activities. So you can draw squares. So there's only 2 shapes here: circles and squares. So you draw these squares, you can draw them like in between the linkage, like you can draw it on the line itself. That's one way to do it. So or if you don't have space in there, then you can draw it like on the side and then make an arrow going to that. So that's why this is just a rough drawing right now, but to do this properly, you would need to spend some time on your own to make a really good diagram. Right? So for example, if you participate in a dance class, in the evening time, 1 day a week or 2 day a week with your significant other or your husband or wife or whoever, so that would be a social activity. And you would put a box there, and you can just put the word dance in there, something like that. And remember, you can also make this diagram in different phases. You can just draw your closest people on one page, the more distant people on another page, but you won't be able to see the whole thing on one page then. So it's better to try to draw the whole thing on one page as much as you can. And then you can always make an audio recording or write a paragraph or write bullet points about what this all looks like really in your life, so you can see it. And this is my social dimension. Okay, now the color coding is also interesting. If you want, you can also use colors to code different types of interactions: positive, neutral, or negative, right? For the types of relationships, work, family, friends, you can color code the whole thing if you want. Or the emotions associated with each connection. That's a much more elaborate thing to do if you want to do that. It's good to try to do that if possible. Right? So for example, positive, neutral, negative. There could be a negative relationship, or there was something negative that happened in the past with somebody. You could make a red color for that, or whatever color you feel expresses negativity. A positive color may be like a blue color. A neutral color may be like a yellow color, something like that. I don't know. It's up to you. Or maybe neutral could be blue. It's just you can choose. And you can color code. You can see it, that this is what's going on in my life. You can also see the picture in the background of the slide. It's kind of faint, but that's just the way it is. All those people that are all interconnected together. Each person is connected to so many others. So there's a connection there. Take your, so okay, very good, very good. So having done that, we're going to move forward into the principle number 11. So remember, before we do that, please remember that this is a homework exercise for you to finish this diagram, to do it well. If you are so inclined, make a nice, like a mini poster, or like you can get one of those drawing books and make a proper diagram. Some people can use a computer to do this. You can do it in a lot of different ways. Okay, and as I stated before, we'll be providing lots of suggestions and more details on these diagrams in supplementary materials that'll accompany our workshops. All right, so now what I'd like you to do is to open workbook number 1 and take out the 3x5 card. Okay, so in workbook, on the 3x5 card, a blank 3x5 card, write down principle number 11, forgiveness, and write this 3-sentence definition that you see on the screen. I'm going to read it out loud. You can write it down. So actually, hold on one second. Let's do this first. I'm going to read one sentence at a time. You repeat after me, and then we'll write it down, right? So let's do it that way. Forgiveness is a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment, anger, or vengeance towards someone who has harmed me, regardless of whether they actually deserve my forgiveness. Let's read that sentence together. Forgiveness is a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment, anger, or vengeance towards someone who has harmed me, regardless of whether they actually deserve my forgiveness. It is not about forgetting the harm done or excusing the actions, but rather finding a way to move past the hurt. Let's read that again. It is not about forgetting the harm done or excusing the actions, but rather finding a way to move past the hurt. It is a process that promotes mental and emotional healing and allows me to focus on other positive aspects of life. Read that sentence again. It is a process that promotes mental and emotional healing and allows me to focus on other positive aspects of life. This is our quantum principle, quantum transformation principle number 11. So you've got that. So please take a couple of minutes here and write this down. Nice and easy. Please try to make sure that your handwriting is clear, because you'll be reading this statement, this definition, 3 times each day before having a meal. See, we're already at principle number 11, how time flows. The key point in forgiveness is the ability to move past the hurt. That's our goal. We'll be talking a lot about this in many different modalities of angel wing. again, lack of forgiveness, holding on to negative feelings of resentment, anger, vengeance, particularly, these things use a lot of energy. And they can be harmful to the mind also. They are harmful, in fact. Okay, very good. So now in workbook 1, we have a little exercise here. This is our sentence completion exercise, similar to the one that we did last time. So what is the goal of this exercise? This exercise is designed to promote introspection and personal reflection on the concept and practice of forgiveness, right? So there's 5 bullet points there. In your workbook number 1, you've already written there, principle number 11 is forgiveness. Write these 5 sentence completion these 5 sentences with the open blank there. So when I think about forgiveness, the first thing that comes to mind is, and this has to come from within you. You can use reference materials if you want to get some suggestions, but it should be genuine to you. To write them all down, they're very easy sentences that anybody can complete, anyone over age 12 probably, right? One situation where I had difficulty forgiving someone was, but now I realize blank. Releasing feelings of resentment and anger towards someone who harmed me could look like. What does that look like? So, and if you want to write more about this, feel free. Please do so. You can always write it. Some people like to keep a journal, and if you want to even use workbook number 1 as more like a journal, you can do that. You can add as much material as you want. This is your workbook. You're not going to be turning it into us. If you share it with someone else, that's up to you. And to move past the hurt I experience, one step I take is. That's a really great question. That's the 4th point there. What are the steps to be taken? So this is just to get the process started. We're going to have specialized workshops on forgiveness and all these principles in the future. But this week, you're going to be focusing on this quality of forgiveness. The goal is to drop the negative emotion and the energy that goes into that negativity. We don't want that to happen. Focusing on positive aspects of life after forgiveness would mean for me blank. What does that mean? Why is that important? What good will come out of that? But for me to focus on something positive, I need to separate myself from something negative. Otherwise, I cannot focus on what is positive. And that is a 5th point there. And if you want to write, a nice paragraph for each one of these, that's even better. So you can do a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things with this. I mean, it's fun. I don't know if it's really that much fun or not, but it is necessary. It's a very, very, very important quality to reach a state of personal transformation and to balance our life, all of us together. And if you want to change some of the language in the sentence that might be more applicable to you, you can do that. That's also all right. That you don't necessarily have to use exactly the same language, but we would recommend using this and just for consistency purposes. I think all of these are great. The 4th one is really hits the nail on the head. To move past the hurt I experienced, one step I can take is. What steps can be taken? Okay, wonderful. Now, this exercise, once we set up accountability partners, you can always do these together with your accountability partner. You can do it on Zoom, you can do it on the phone, you can meet with each other personally if you want. It's totally up to you. And that can provide a lot of depth and meaning and even further development, more rapid development, if you do it with an accountability partner. Right? The first thing that would happen is that you would be accountable to each other to actually do these exercises. Then you can kind of share your experience, or you can do it together if you want also. Okay, wonderful. Okay, wonderful. It's good that you've written it down. Writing is good. Writing is a whole brain activity. So you don't have to answer these questions now. Don't fill in the blank now. Do it later as a homework assignment. Okay. And I'm going to just read the central concept which you should already have. Our recommendation, in fact, our strong recommendation in this program is that you read this one time every day. Maybe it's at lunch or dinner or during your meditation in the morning or breakfast, or I don't know when you do it, but do it one time every day. To read this entire sentence, this entire paragraph every day, one time. Okay. And that should not say week number 4. I just saw that right now. That should say week number 11. Hold on one moment. Since we are here, I just want to change that quickly. Yes, there we go. So I'm going to read this. Just read it one time. You don't have to repeat after me or anything. And then we'll do our closing video. The human mind, with its intricate workings and endless complexities, is a fascinating phenomenon that requires a substantial amount of energy to function. However, this energy can be drained by personal conflicts that arise both within and outside of ourselves. When we take steps to reduce and eventually eliminate the unnecessary dissipation of our inner energy, we can experience an extraordinary revitalization and conservation of our life force. This revitalized energy can then permeate every aspect, that's the 12 dimensions of our lives. And it is then unobstructed and without disturbance, leading to a powerful foundation upon which limitless possibilities become available and realizable. The Angel Wing LLC. This is our big idea, right? All throughout this. Please read this one time daily. Just read it one time daily. Before you know it, you'll have it memorized inside your system. It'll start, piercing inside your mind beautifully. Okay, vitamin M. So today, I'd like you to, again, put a certain fixed amount of money in that envelope. See how much is there right now. If you were putting $10 every week, you should have $110 today. See, before you know it, money saves. This is saving money, right? We're going to be talking about the utilization of this next time. We're spending more time on this vitamin M concept and related ideas. How to use this money that you've saved, some of it as a vitamin. What is this concept? How to do that actually is something we're going to talk about as a solution to all kinds of issues, problems, and difficulties people have in their life that are financial in nature. Okay, so this is the vitamin M envelope. Make sure you have that safe. Please don't use any money that you put in there yet. Okay, so in the next 2 weeks, weeks 12 and 13, we're going to be talking about how to use some of this money as a vitamin. All right, so having said that, we have our closing song here, To Never Give Up. It's a nice inspirational song. And then we'll have our Q&A session after this. Okay, hold on one moment. I think I need to, let's try this again here. There we go. I don't know why it's not playing. Hold on just a moment. Let's do it this way. Well, for some reason, I don't know why that's not playing. Hold on one second. Let me try one more thing here. Let's hold on 1 second here. Let's do it from YouTube. It's a little strange. In just a moment. Okay, so just online workshop presentation. This recording stops here. This is our trial run with Dr. Chaitanya Kripalu, and some others are doing it independently online through the recording. So I'm stopping this recording here. Here we go.